Hi, this is Tracy from GiftBasketappeal, and today I'm going to show you how I made these really pretty paper roses. So let's get started. What you're going to need is a flower template. I use this one and it has 6 petals on it. You could probably draw this, however, all I did was Googled flower templates and I got one of these. I looked at several videos to get some inspiration, and this project turned out to be so much fun. So all I did is use scrapbook paper, and I just traced it and then cut them out. If you want, you can draw lines on here, and that will help you in the cutting process. So you'll see later why you have that option. So you're going to need 3 of these because you want your flower to be layered. You're also going to need a small circle, and this will be the base of your flower. I'll make sure I list everything below, but this is just minimal supplies and you get to use your scraps. So what I'm going to do with this is, just to give it a little bit of color around the edges, I'm going to just distress it a little bit. And I'm just using my distress ink from Tim Holtz, and it is black soot. So I'm just going around the edges just a little bit, just to give it something. You're also going to need a glue gun to help hold your flower together. Just adding just a little bit of color around the edges, just to give it a little bit more character. You could also use cardstock if you want to make your flowers, but I'm just going to use some scrapbook paper. And you don't have to do this, but you can. Just have fun with it. Okay, so we're all ready to start our flower. So what you're going to do is you're just going to take your scissor, and with the first flower shape, you're just going to cut a slit right into the middle there. So you don't have to go too far in there. And that's why I was saying, if you want to use this template and just draw the line across diagonally, you can do that also, if that'll help you find your center. So you just want to focus on the center. So you got that one with the slit. The second one, you're going to cut out one of the petals. I'm just going right to the center there, and then I'm meeting up the other one right at the center. So it looks like that. Then you're going to take your third one and you're going to cut out 2 of the petals, going to the center there and going to the center right there. So it actually looks like a heart shape. So you've got one with the slit, one with one of the petals cut out, and the other one with the heart shape, 2 petals cut out. Okay, so what you're going to do now is, I'm going to take my bone folder, or you can use some type of instrument to help you kind of fold this over if you don't have a bone folder. And so I want the color side and I'm going to just fold that over. I'm just folding over the petals. And that's what's going to form your dimension for the flowers. Okay, just going to go and do all of them. And this is the key to making those roses look really good. Just be careful you don't rip the paper. Just curl those edges. Okay, so all your edges are nice and curled. Okay, so we're going to wait on these for a moment, and then we're going to go back to this bigger one. All you're going to do is you're going to take where it's slit, and you're going to take one petal and put it over the other, just like that. All you're doing is pulling in from the center. You're putting one petal over the other one, just like that. So I'm going to add some, I'm taking my hot glue gun, I'm going to add some glue. And you don't really need much because it's paper. And then I'm just pinching it just like that. And that forms, how cool is that? That forms the bottom part of your flower. So you see what that looks like on the back. Just like that. Put that aside for a moment. Take the next one. Take it, fold it over. Put this one on top of the other. Just like that. And be careful not to get that glue on you. And so you got the large one. That has now 5 petals on it. This one has 4. And then you're going to take this one and you're going to take the other petal and just put it over this one to make it even smaller. So it's almost like a cone shape. And you see where that's going? Okay, so you got your 3 there. Now we're going to just take these. Let's take the heart-shaped one. And what I'm going to do with this is I'm going to curl it inward just to give it a little bit of bend. I'm just going to hot glue it together just like this. So it's somewhat like a cone also. That's going to form the inner part of your flower. Put some hot glue on it. You still want it to have like a cone shape. So we're working our way from the largest to the smallest. And then you have this little tiny one. That's going to be the most inner part of your flower. And so what I'm going to do with this is I'm going to just take this and roll it around. So if you have something, you could use the back of a small paintbrush maybe, if you don't have like one of these skewers, but some kind of, not a pen. I think a pen would be too big. So you want this to be able to wrap very tightly. Right around here, just like that. And then I'm just going to glue that right on the outer edge there. And be careful with that glue because I made the mistake of burning myself. And this is the inner part of your flower. So I'm just going to hold that together just so it stays, so it takes shape there. And these are just so much fun to make. So this is what the little part should look like. Now what you're going to do is, before I put it on this little circle base here, before I add it to this, I'm just going to bend this in just a little bit and cut that part off, just so it's a little bit flat. It's going to be a lot easier to add it on there. So I'm doing that for all of these. Just cutting off that outer part. So it looks like that. Go ahead and do this one. And once you put that hot glue on these are pretty sturdy. Cutting this off, because that's going to go inside of there. And cut this one off, the inner part. Okay, so now for the fun part. What you're going to do is you're going to add some glue right on your base here. And you're going to sit your flower right up on here, just like that. Just to let that dry a little bit. And all I did is I just used some cereal boxes and cut circles out. So you just want to have a base. That way you can stick the flower to something else in one of your other crafty projects. Okay, and I'm just going to let that dry for a moment. And all I'm doing is pressing it down. If you wanted to take something, just so you're not touching that glue, okay, like that. I'm going to take a little bit of glue and just put it right there. And I'm going to add a little bit of glue around the edge here too. And then here's where you're going to start to form your flower. So what I want to do is, I don't want the flower to be sitting exactly over the petal. I don't want the petals to be lined up. And I'm just holding it in the middle like this. You might want to use maybe some kind of pencil or sharper instrument. I'm just using this skewer here. Okay, and so far this is what it looks like. So that's how you're starting to build your flower. Okay, and then you come with the third part. I'm just putting a little bit of glue down in there just to hold it, and then I'm putting some right around the flower here. And remember, I'm not lining it up. I want it to kind of be a little off kilter there. Holding it in there. Okay, and look, we're starting to build it. See how it's starting to take that pretty shape? These can be really addicting. They'll make you'll be able to make tons of these. Imagine making these out of some printed paper, maybe like an old book or something. Great upcycle project. Take all those scraps of paper and make a nice bouquet out of them. Okay, and so that's our inner part there. And then we're going to add this last little part in here. This is truly a really fun project. I'm just going to hold that on the inside here. And I didn't want to put any glue down in there because I'd rather add it to the inner part rather than put glue down in there because I didn't want the sides to stick. And so now look at that. Now if I want, I could go back and bend these edges out on here if you want, but I'm good with this. And so that is my paper flower. Super easy to make. Let me show you some of the other ones that I made. You can do it in whatever colors you want. I know you probably have tons of scrapbook paper. Very pretty. I just sat here and said, I'm going to do a bunch of these. All this pretty paper. Some of them I actually did two types of papers that were similar color but different patterns on them, and they still work. More. You can make tons of these, and you don't have to do it. You can do it with just one color if you want. And I did a few that had just one color. Here's one that I mixed up the papers with. I went with a lighter color and a more patterned paper. Tons of them. This is one that I made, and I used some distress ink. This was white paper, white cardstock actually, and I used distress ink on the outside of the petals. And then I used the same technique. And this is actually cardstock. It was a little bit harder to kind of fold the petals over or bend the petals, but it still worked out just fine. So I hope this tutorial inspired you. This is great in time for spring or any time of year, really. I hope this helped, and don't forget to subscribe, like, and comment below. Thanks for joining me. Bye.